This is a video walkthrough of your 2021 Quest Gill 615 with the Minn Kota Edrive on it. In the boat is the battery charger, and it's what we call a 4-bank charger, meaning each bank charges one group of batteries. There is a cord, standard outlet on it here. You plug that in, you will see 4 lights here on the charger, meaning it says charging 1 amp through 10 amps. Because it just came off of charge, they will basically immediately go to flashing amber from solid amber. And then as it charges, it will go to the next line up here, which is full charge, 0 to 1 amps. So more of a top off or a maintaining function of the charger. And then also at the top there is a line that says check connection. Those lights are red, and hopefully you don't ever see those, but that means that there is an issue either with the fuses that are on the batteries themselves, and I'll show you that in just a moment, or potentially that one of the batteries is below the threshold voltage that the charger recognizes. So if one of the batteries or any number of batteries were to drop off below the safe charging threshold, the charger will not operate. So basically, if it's been on charge, overnight or for several hours, these lights will work themselves up to the full charge flashing green lights, and that's what you're looking for to know that it's 100% ready to go. One other note, that before you go ahead and plug the charger in, you want to make sure that this circuit breaker is tripped, and that is with this yellow lever in the out position. To engage the motor and to turn on the power to the motor, you need to push that in. And then when you want to go to charge the boat, push the red button, and that releases that yellow arm and makes it safe to charge. The issue that we've seen over the years, that the reason why we do the breaker this way now, if you plug or turn on the key on your dash panel here with the charger plugged in, you can push too much voltage through the system and potentially damage the control board on the motor. So that's why we do that disconnecting style breaker there. So again, go in, lock that closed, go over to the dash, turn your key on. You'll hear a click on the motor. This is your runtime in hours, which obviously is an estimate. When the motor's off, that's going to be showing as high as it goes, is 99.9 hours. On the right is your fuel gauge, meaning your battery level gauge, and these bars will disappear as you use the boat. And then on the throttle lever here, you push that ahead for forward, and you see the throttle percentage go on up, and then you will see that number of 27 is what it showed there. But when it's in the water, it will be down significantly. With the load of the water on it, it will be down in the 2 or 3 hour range at full throttle. 5, 6, 7, 8 hours at varying throttle speeds. The slower you go, the more time you get. But you can use that as an estimate, and then also the actual battery level gauge there as well. On your dash, which this is the dash panel that is missing on this boat, there'll be a panel that goes in with several screws around the outside. But you have a horn button. Your navigation lights is the next switch down. In the navigation position, which is the left, that turns on the red and green on the front, and also the white light that's on the Bimini top. If you're moving in the water at night, you need to have that on in that position. if you were parked in the water at night, say, you know, out in the lake, say watching fireworks or something like that, you would technically need to have that in the anchor position. And then off is in the middle. The next switch down says courtesy. That turns on a light on the side of the helm here. And then these three accessories, the top two don't do anything on this boat. The bottom one powers your trim gauge, which is down here on the lower edge of the helm. As you tilt the motor, that will show on the gauge there that it's going up and down, provided you have that lower switch on. So if you turn it on, just remember to turn it off when you're done so that does not draw down on the battery. And again, make sure all your other switches are off when you're done using the boat so that there's no additional load on the battery. Also make sure you turn your key off and take it out before you charge the boat. And like I mentioned earlier, disconnect the circuit breaker there. Getting in that habit's a good thing to make it so you don't, you know, again, potentially put too much voltage through the system. So I will leave it disconnected right now, or excuse me, I will leave it connected right now, and we're gonna put the cord in here so it's in the stored position. On the batteries, essentially they're all the same. They're what we call a Group 31 battery, and they are labeled battery 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fuse holders are labeled accordingly, and also the charge cord is labeled. But if you see that red check connection light, there is a potential that one of these fuses is bad. You can open up the cap there and see potentially what the issue would be. The only other battery that's has some additional wiring on it is typically what we label as battery number 1, but it's also known as the house battery. And in this case, house is meaning the boat battery itself. So this controls all of the lights on the boat, or any of those accessory switches on the dash. And then there is another fuse in line there. You push that little tab and the cap comes off. So if nothing on the dash area works, and again, this is not the motor, it's just the dash lights and things like that, check that. Up next to each switch there is a circuit breaker for each individual switch. So the only thing to watch as far as battery life and things like that goes, battery 1, or the house battery in this case, tends to wear out faster than the other batteries because of the additional accessories that are on the system. But on this size boat, because there's not a lot of other things to create a draw, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So if you ever see that check connection light and you've checked the fuses here and everything's okay, I would suggest taking a separate, you know, automotive style charger that you might have in your garage or something, and hook up to the battery, one battery individually, as a booster to help bring that battery up, and then the regular charger would take over. We generally say that these batteries last 4 or 5 years, depending on, you know, maintaining them. There is ports here to check the water level, which should be done on a yearly basis. And again, providing that's done and they stay charged and in good condition, then they should last at least 4 or 5 years. So we generally recommend replacing them in a set. And overall, we really don't have any major, you know, failure issues with them, so they should definitely last you that 4 or 5 year period. So they are dated, you can see there on it. And then I'll put those covers on here in a minute. The other thing with the boat, it does have a mooring cover, which is stored underneath the front seat here on the left. and then those black poles go in the center of the boat to hold the cover up. In here is also a table leg and a table, and then in the owner's manual package is the table base, which some people never mount in the boat. It's your choice. It just goes down with 5 wood screws, right onto the deck surface. You can put it in the front between the seats, or you can put it over on the side, anywhere it's convenient for you. Or like I said, a lot of people never end up even using them. So the Bimini top, there's 2 zippers, one on either side. You can unzip the boot, and then these straps here, when you pull the top forward, the straps will hook up to the eyelet here. The windshield is removable. You just turn these 90 degrees and they'll unlock, and you take the windshield off if you need to for storage or anything. There's 2 keys with the boat, and in one of the key holders is a shear pin for the propeller. If you ever hit anything with the prop, there's a brass shear pin in there that's meant to break, and you can take the nut off the prop and then replace that pin with one of the ones that's in the key holder there, and then you should be back going again. So not typically anything that we really have issues with. Depends on if your lake has a lot of rocks in it or not. But that should basically cover it on this one. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Number is 518-210-9031. Thank you.